Yeah, man.
Feeling like it, isn't it? A little chilly.
A little crazy. Man, we got snow the other day.
love
Day
it.
1 of December.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Here was the crazy thing. So I called my mama that night. She's still back in central Illinois, like a couple hours north of on the,
Right.
from where we are. Like if you're not familiar with Illinois, take Kentucky, flip it on its end, and that's Illinois. Like we are north and south, what Kentucky is east and west. And so I call my mama. She lives up north. No snow, beautiful weather. It's real nice. The whole point, not the whole point, but part of the point of me moving south was to get away from the snow and leave it back there, man.
No,
It's crazy.
man.
It's
No,
crazy.
you got a ways to go, man. We're talking, deep south before you're going to get out of this stuff. Ohio Valley, Christmas, it's either cold rain or wet snow.
Yeah.
Kind of, all the same. But this was pretty.
Yeah.
It was refreshing.
It's nice.
I love snow in December. Like I said, I think a Sunday or two ago. Once Christmas is over, though, it's like bring on the warm weather again. But for now,
man, I'm right there with you.
We'll embrace it. We'll enjoy it. 'Tis the season, all right?
Yeah.
So, that's what we're going to talk about for a little bit here. First today is kind of walk back through all things Christmas here at OCC.
Yeah.
We are not going to let COVID cancel Christmas.
No way.
And so we're excited about the opportunities that have been developed. A whole lot of really good online resource and material that's rolling out, as well as on campus. And so, Fitz, let's kind of start at the top with this. This actually started a few weeks ago from a promotion standpoint. The opportunity to serve, that's such an important part of the season is to be more giving, be more of a giver than a receiver, and to serve other people, starting with our family, but those around us, and
to be generous in every way, right?
That's right. Yeah. And so we've been promoting an opportunity through an organization called Helping Hands. Love the 502 is kind of how we've framed it. Specifically in this project over in Portland in the West End is where Helping Hands is engaging with some families over there. So if you're interested in getting involved in that, just you or your whole family, it's a great opportunity for your kids to get involved as well. A safe opportunity. They've got the protocols in place. Just go to our website. We'll put the information here on the screen. And you can get signed up right away to help do that.
It's a great opportunity, man. Build some relationship, doing some good work for some people. Partnering with a great ministry. It's just a good a win-win across the board. So check that out. Speaking of families, we've got some fresh material for you around this thing called Advent. A lot of you maybe know what that is, but Fitz, talk about that a little bit. We've done that here in the importance of Advent and what that really is all about. Yeah, so I was introduced to Advent years ago by my wife's family. Wasn't familiar with that in my tradition, my upbringing, and even when I came to Christ, my first several years following Jesus. Kind of heard about it, but it was this mysterious thing, and there for a while I even thought it was kind of cultic. I didn't know much about it, So I find out, that it's the 4 weeks leading up to Easter, those 4 Sundays between Thanksgiving and Easter.
How about Christmas?
Christmas, man. Yeah. Getting ahead of myself, man.
That's all right. Easter will be here soon enough.
We get the resurrection down the road. Leading up to Christmas. That's the season we're in. And
that'll be in the outtakes, huh? Yeah.
Should we start over? Or should we?
It's all good, man. Let's just keep rolling.
All right.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah. So from Thanksgiving on, celebrating the weekly, the coming of Jesus, that it's the anticipation of the arrival, and going back to the time before Jesus arrived initially, to the time of the prophets, and just how they were awaiting for a Messiah, waiting for a Redeemer. Yeah. And we live on the other side of that. We know who the Messiah is. We know who our Redeemer is. We live with the Redeemer having redeemed us, and man, we live on the joy of the other side of all of that. But we wait for His second coming, His coming again. So just like the prophets and all those prior to Jesus were waiting for Him to come, we're waiting for His coming again. And it's a season of anticipation. It's a season of joy, a season of peace, a season of hope, that all those things still ring true. All those things are still alive. So that's what it is. It's just anticipating that and celebrating that we know who the one is that we're waiting for.
Yeah, I love that, and the word that always resonates with me is anticipation. And that's so important, and just ramping up and working towards Christmas versus just arriving there all of a sudden, but really taking the time, literally every day, and that's what we've got for you is an Advent calendar. That you can jump in with. Again, I'll put this up on the screen and the way you can find it here and get to it digitally, but it has information and activities that you can do as a family, along with a video that Susan Miranda and some of our staff are putting out each day just to encourage you and do just a little bit of teaching on that.
Man.
Yeah,
so fun.
Yeah, so really encourage you to, as we continue in this challenging season, especially with our kids, keeping them engaged, is to use this resource, carve out some intentional time, maybe each evening, whatever makes sense in your family each day rhythm, during this season, and turn everything else off and focus in on this, and use the resource we've got for you there. So check that out. The other thing, sort of oriented a little bit more towards our adults, but again for anybody, is just a simple reading through the book of Luke every day. And this was something that you asked our staff and elders to do.
Yeah, and it's just a way to frame up the Christmas story in the broader context of the entire story of Jesus coming, his arrival, his death, his burial, his resurrection. And so when we get to the end of Luke, it'll be on Christmas Eve. And we'll have walked through the Easter story at Christmas.
Yes, right.
So that's we'll walk through the Easter story at Christmas. And which frames up why we celebrate so much the arrival of this little baby in a manger a couple thousand years ago. And just a different way to engage it, a fun way to engage. Join with us as we read through and just follow along, and we'll offer a couple thoughts and some application along the way as well. But and that Luke narrative is just such a beautiful narrative of Jesus' life. So read through the entirety of his life to frame up why we celebrate his birth.
So that every day at 8:30 in the morning, a new post goes up for all our Facebook folks and Instagram folks. It'll appear in our feed there at 8:30 each morning, the video. You can also access it through our website. Again, everything that we're talking about today is on our website, just through the Everything Christmas button in events. So just look for that, and that opens up, and you'll see right at the top of the page, again, and we'll show it here on the screen, is a button just called Christmas Devos, and it'll open it up. So it's there for everybody, and let us know if you have any trouble finding that. But every day, both in the context of Advent and just reading through the book of Luke, hopefully some encouraging and helpful resources for you there. So when we get to December 13th, we'll launch into a 3-part teaching series in the context of Sunday mornings and Christmas Eve services. And let's talk about that series, what it's called, and kind of the context for that.
So calling it Pathway of Peace, which is a line that comes from the Luke narrative on Jesus' birth, really talking about John the Baptist and how he's going to pave the way for Jesus down the road, and how he's going to reveal to us that pathway of peace. And it struck me the preposition used there, that it's of and not to. That peace is not a destination, but peace is kind of a choice along the way that we live into. And as we walk the pathway with God, the pathway with God is the pathway of peace. It's a pathway of hope. It's a pathway of joy. But this season, man, we really need peace. There's a lot of people who need peace. I was just talking to one of my friends this morning. There's a lot of stuff in this world that can just build anxiety and tension and discontent and create some uneasiness. 2020 has been an odd year, but even in a normal year, there's enough going on in the world. So we've got so many things coming at us. Who doesn't want peace? Who couldn't use more peace? So that's what we're going to be talking about is what what it looks like to walk on a pathway of peace.
Right on. Yeah. So that begins December 13th, continues on December 20th, the Sunday before Christmas. And then we'll head into Christmas Eve services, which again this year, similar to last year, we're going to offer an Eve service, which is Wednesday, December 23rd at 4 and at 7. Yeah. And then again on the 24th, Christmas Eve at 4. And then for our late folks who enjoy that late service at 10 o'clock. Yeah. And so 4 services, they're all identical, so you can pick one. But real quick, for all of our OCC people, if this is your church, our challenge isn't just to attend a service, but pick a service to serve at. Yeah. Especially with helping facilitate our kids programming. Our hope and our intention right now is to offer kids programming for the little ones through our elementary age on the Eve services and the 4 o'clock service on the 24th. Yeah. But we need folks to help do that. Yeah. And there's a lot of you out there who are comfortable. It's not an issue of your concern or fear with COVID. You're comfortable enough in the environment, and so we're just asking you to consider that and step up into that.
It's really that whole life generosity piece, you know, of not just consuming but being a contributor, of not just getting but giving. You know, if we go back to a couple series ago where we talked about what it looks like to help everyone find and follow Jesus. It's being that wreck the roof kind of person who will do what it takes to serve. And really, as much as anything, it's an opportunity, more than it is an obligation, an opportunity to watch Jesus work through you as you minister to other people. And man, those serving opportunities are sometimes the best things I have going. Yeah. The serving matters a whole lot more sometimes than just the coming to a service. So jump in, serve, help out, connect, and serve those families, serve those little ones, and serve in whatever ways you're able. And then invite somebody to join with you too.
Yeah, and that's the other piece. So we want you to attend, we want you to serve, but don't forget about your friends and folks who just need to be here, and so be a host. Again, whether that's online in your home, because we will be offering everything online as well, or in person here on campus. Now, if you are the parents of elementary age or preschool, nursery age kids and want to come on campus and bring your kids, just like we're doing on Sunday morning, is you got to register. And so that links there on the kids pages, as well as on that Christmas, all things Christmas page, to get your kids registered. That's really, really important to do that as far in advance as possible to help us understand the true real demand versus what we're trying to figure out, which is almost impossible to really know what the need will be. We're assuming and hope that there'll be a lot of families here. Yep. That's really what we hope, and we want to be ready to welcome them here with their kids. But help us know the sort of the true demand aspect of that by getting registered ahead of time, which I know is hard to do, to figure out which service you're going to attend at what time and all the family arrangements. It's a challenge. But do your best to get ahead on that and let us know so we can help you with that.
Here's a challenge that my family and I accepted years ago, going into Christmas at our previous church. Was instead of deciding which services we would go to based on what our family was doing, we just told our family, here's when we're going to be at church, and let's plan our family stuff around that.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool because it let people know, hey, this is how much we value this, and the priority and the blessing. And what happened in the end was several people from our family ended up coming with us, joining with us, and that became part of our family Christmas with the broader family, and had a pretty significant ministry to some people.
Yeah. Good advice. Okay, so So that's everything from a Christmas standpoint. Woo-hoo. Again, everything Christmas is on our website. All the information we talked about on a nice clean page there. You can check it all out. Yeah. Let's wrap up, Fitz, with kind of coming all the way back to where we are today, continuing in our Making Change series. We're heading into the final week of that. This coming Sunday, December 6th, will be a wrap up with this series, but I don't think wrap up necessarily is the right word, but culmination and launch.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was thinking of. More of a launch pad.
Yeah. So you shared a few weeks ago kind of a tease, and we want to continue to sort of, without going into detail, but lay out the challenge and anticipation of what we're going to get into Sunday.
Yeah, so the previous 3 weeks, we've talked about making a change in our perspective, making a change in our priorities. JC, you and our friend Shane did a great job this past Sunday talking about making a change in our plans. And this week, we'll be talking about a change of heart, which really gets into a change of purpose. Preaching everything stays the same, right? So staying on the P's. Yeah. Change of purpose this week, but it's really in a change of heart.
Yeah.
And for us to do that, we're going to explore the heart of God. What's God's heart with calling us to give? Yeah. And we have a bold, radical opportunity for you to participate in this Sunday. And and so if there is a Sunday that you are going to be with us, if there is one Sunday that you're going to choose to join us either in person or online, this is the Sunday. Yeah. There are some messages that I'm usually pretty excited about most Sundays, but there are some messages that just go to another level for me, and the opportunity to watch God do something really cool in His church and in the lives of His people. Yeah. This is one of those Sundays that has the potential to be a turning point Sunday for a lot of people. So pray for it, anticipate it, pray that God will be moving, pray for me and our team as we prep for this Sunday. But join us Sunday, because this opportunity is a radical one. It is a fun one.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going to say about that. So pray it up, join us, invite a friend, and be part of what God is up to this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And that last part there, be a part of it, which doesn't mean you have to be on campus.
Right.
But to be a part of it online is going to take more effort. Just in general, we know that it is very easy to slip into that observation mode versus participant mode when we're viewing online. So we know so many of you that's still the case as far as online, which is totally cool. The challenge is intentionally work towards participation, especially when we get to a point in the service where we're going to ask for that. We're going to ask you to engage and consider a really bold step in your life and in your commitment. Don't let yourself slip into observation mode, like, oh, that's just for the people in the room.
Right.
That's not for me. No, that's not the case. It's for everybody, no matter where you're at, where you're watching from, or when you're watching from. You may end up viewing Sunday on Wednesday. Yeah. The challenge is still the same, and the commitment is still the same. So
in that same vein, guard yourself from distractions. If you're one of those people who makes coffee during the service, wake up a little bit earlier, get your coffee made. If you're having breakfast, have your breakfast beforehand. Yeah. Do what you need to do to guard from distraction, to carve out that time to give your attention to God. And trust that God's going to work through us to say something bold that day. And we look forward.
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
And then share your stories with us, man.
Yeah.
Share your stories.
It's going to be super exciting and full expectation, anticipation of what God's going to do, because He always shows up. It's never a matter of if we're going to – the if is if we'll show up, not if God's going to show up. Yeah. And our prayers that we will join in what He's already doing, and we'll be faithful to meet Him there as He invites us into what He's doing versus trying to invite God into what we're doing. Yeah. Let's accept His invitation to what He's doing. So look forward to Sunday. Can't wait. One last resource reminder, going back to this past week, but going in and continuing out of this series is our generosity page. At the top of the website, there's a button called Generosity, and there's just a whole lot of tools there to help you understand all the ways you can participate in the practice and discipline of giving. And so be sure you're aware of that. Read through that. Check it out. It's really helpful. Okay. We will see you Sunday on campus, in person, online, from wherever you are. Can't wait to see you. Have a great rest of the week.
See you later, OCC.